Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Operation Hill 100 Hearts channel, where we focus on healing, humor, and hot topics. Of course, as you guys know, if you're tuned in right now, you're tuned into the healing segment of my channel, where we do our letters for Dear Deja. If you are new here, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get the notifications when I drop all my videos, whether that be Dear Deja, live at 5, or just going live period to talk my shit. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Also, as you're entering, please hit the thumbs up on my video. I beg of you, please hit the thumbs up on my video because that helps to get me in the algorithm, and it also helps you support my channel for free. So let's get started on this Dear Deja letter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dear Deja. So my man caught a bid. Insert eye rolling emoji here. 6 years. He's over it. I'm over it. We're over it. But hey, it is what it is. Our relationship is okay. I can see a future with him, but some major changes need to be made. The nigga wasn't sentenced 48 hours before he was asking if I thought we should get married. I think not. Oh, good. That's a good thing. That's supposed to be. You're supposed to say so. He cool, Deja, don't get me wrong. But until the necessary changes are made and he's out of jail, I'm not promising God I'm going to be with this nigga. Anyway, we had that debate for about 2 weeks, then it died down. He's been locked up for 8 months so far. I visit him, send money, we're good. Lately, he's been talking about how whack life without sex is. Yes, that's usually the case when a person is in jail. We have the things we do to keep one another stimulated, but of course that's very limited due to the situation. But I see why, no, the marriage conversation resurfaces and then we go at it again. And now I see why he wants to get married, because he wants to get conjugal visits so we can have sex. I'm not marrying a man just to fuck. Anyway, do you know this man had the nerve to ask me the other day if I had his blessing to one of the COs at the prison, a female. In his mind, this sick fuck thinks it's a remedy to our problem. They can't be in a relationship, it can't happen often, and they can't catch feelings. So it's the perfect setup, according to him. I asked if I could do the same here on the outside, and he's arguing it's not the same thing. I could develop feelings for another person because there's no restrictions put on what we can do as opposed to his situation. Right now, we're at war over this, and I am tired. What do you think I should do? Sign, if I let him cheat in jail, will my relationship fail? Well, alrighty then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up. Let's get it going. What I will say is I'm so sorry that you guys are experiencing a love that's keeping you guys separate. I know I did it, so I know how to take swing. It can be stressful. It can be stressful, but Pookie and I talk about all the time how it's really a matter of what you want to do and what you don't want to do, right? I want to have some conversation about the relationship as a whole, which I find myself having a lot of conversations about relationships and these Dear Deja letters, but I want to have some about the conversation as a whole, because don't get me wrong, I do understand where the both of you are coming from, right? I understand that he may require, or he may have a very voracious appetite for sex, right? And it may be very stressful for him in the situation he's in, right? So that part, I mean, I hear him. If that's who he is, you can't change that. I just have some questions. It sounds like you're not on board with this. And before we even get to, let me scale it back, peel it back, as Mayor Adams said on his Breakfast Club interview, let me peel it back. Before I even get into the relationship, let's just talk about you, right? Because it seems like I got the impression when you said I'm over it, he's over it, we're over it. I don't know, was that the first bid? Is that the first bid, rather? Secondly, right? It sounds like you're pretty much aware of what you're into. Like, I didn't hear you say, like, oh, he caught a bid, so I'm rethinking if I should do this. No, it sounds like he caught a bid. You understand he got a bid. You heard how much time he got, and you ready to rock and roll, right? I feel like if I'm correct, and you're that honest and prepared to do that, then that might mean you guys have a significant amount of time together prior to this situation. So if you guys do, I would have to question what was going on prior to his incarceration and who were you. Because I'm going to give an example, right? I use my own relationship. If, God forbid, that situation occurred in my relationship, my man would not have the strength, the wherewithal, and the patience to ask me no question like that, because the way my head was spin off, it would not make the remainder of his bid go well, right? So I think if he wanted to do it, he would have snuck and do it. He wouldn't have told me, because he know for me, it would have been like, wait, excuse me? You want to do what? That's basically you asking me to be okay with you cheating. Bitch, do this look like me on Gordon from Real Housewives of Potomac? No, right? So I want to know, and I mean, this is what we would talk about in the Operation Hill 100 Hearts one-on-one session. What was going on in regards to the commitment you guys had prior to the bid? Has it been times when you invited third parties into your relationship? Maybe it was only sexually. I don't know. I'm just asking, because I feel like the way he asked and the way you explained it seemed like to some degree he felt like, I'm trying to get you to understand why this is the right thing to do. Like, you see what you said in the letter? You said that he said something pertaining to, like, oh, it's a remedy, and then he broke down all the stats. I mean, is that what he had to do when you guys used to have threesomes? Like, I would like to know that, and I'm not trying to offend you if that's not the case. I'm just being honest, because the way he approached you from the way you shared in the letter is almost as if he felt like this made sense, and to some degree he felt confident that you would go along with that. So I would like to ask about who you were prior to this bid in your relationship, and what were you guys doing prior to this bid in your relationship, because he came across a little too freely with asking about it and then trying to get you on board with it. So it kind of makes me feel like prior to this, maybe you guys have done some things with some third parties where no feelings got attached and y'all was able to keep it together and yada, yada, yada. Another reason why I'm going down that route is because another thing that you said was, when he asked you about it, then you turned around and said, well, can I do that? Listen, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. It's just knowing women, and when they're emotionally invested to a certain degree, that's not what they want. That is not at all what they want. Now, I've seen some women allow it, but I honestly can't say that that's what they wanted. They probably just allowed it. So I would be going down the road of that line of questioning. Right? Is this something that you guys have tried before he caught a bid? Is it something that you wanted? Is it something that you allowed? Is it something that you initiated? Right? Because if, let's just say that you guys did have a threesome and you initiated when he was home, then I don't see him thinking anything would be wrong with it happening in this situation, which is inviting a third party into your relationship, because the last time you initiated. The only difference here is that you won't be a part of it, but for obvious reasons, you're not in the jail. And also, like what he explained, I can't catch feelings, this can't happen, that can't happen, so it should be all good. Has it been all good in the past? So I'm just asking because, again, the way he proposed this, it was just so willy-nilly, as if it wouldn't be a shocker for you, or he wouldn't get any pushback from you. Right? And I'm going to play devil's advocate and speak about all three of the scenarios, so I would be able to get some good feedback from you in your Healing Heart session. Number one, let's just say you initiated, right? If you initiated this type of behavior into your relationship, you can't be mad. What you allowed is what will continue. I have said that in so many of my Dear Deidre letters. What you allow is what will continue. So now in this situation, the only difference is the reason why you're not participating in the third party in this relationship is for obvious reasons, because we're doing it because I'm in prison and you're not in here. So if you initiated it, then I have to say this: what is allowed is what will continue. That's one, right? Two is if you allowed it. I'm going to use the same verbiage, which is what is allowed is what will continue, but I'll also say this: if that is what was allowed and it's not something that you were in agreement with, then this is not about that gentleman or your relationship. This is about you. And this is about you identifying the woman that you are and making sure you show up as that woman in your relationship, as opposed to going along to get along. Because now we have hit an impasse, because who you really are as a woman is showing up, and you can no longer go along to get along. And guess what? Y'all are at war, according to your letter. So if you allow that in the past, and that was not something that you wanted to do, then this is not about him. This is not about the female CEO. This is about you and who you are. And that, my dear, is where we would be having the most conversation in your Operation Hill 100 Heart session. I'll never forget Ray J. Ray J, right? I seen initially when you guys know I'm reality TV'd out, but when I watched Love and Hip Hop, Love and Hip Hop LA. So when I first started watching it, Tiara Marie was there, and Tiara Marie was struggling with her breakup with Ray J, and Ray J had just got with Princess. So he was in a new relationship, and Tiara Marie was mortified. Anyway, as you can see, because Ray J and Princess ended up getting married and having children, that Ray J really loved Pricky. That's my girl. I love Pricky, but I love Tiara Marie too. Anyway, one of the things that Pricky tried to drive home when she first got with Ray J was like she was better than Tiara, right? In the sense that, you know, bitch, I got him, and, you know, he's mine, and I'm a better woman than you, and, you know, just tried to really, really play Tiara. And I didn't like that, because I felt like, you know, it just wasn't fair, because you weren't around for your relationship, one, Pricky, and two, you never know what you would do for a man when you're in those shoes, right? I remember thinking that. Fast forward, I would never forget this. Recently, in recent years, when Ray J and Princess was on Love and Hip Hop, I think he brought up that she had dated somebody else, and then she brought up when we used to do threesomes, and then he brought up, okay, but you was down with them. And one of the things she said back to them was, I never did them. I never wanted to do them. I just did them because you wanted to do them. Red flag. Flag on the play. Wrong road. Like my girl Portia would say. No. Do not comply or submit to anything in any relationship that you do not agree with. Because in those moments, you're just doing so to people please and make somebody else happy. Which would be fine if you were okay with that. But because you're not okay with that and you're only pretending, what they're going to think is that you will always be okay with whatever that situation is, so it will always continue, and then it will come a point that the real you will show up and say, hey, I don't like this. And now you have a problem, because the person is looking at you like, well, when you stop liking it, because we've been doing it all this time. You know, they got the meme that say, don't start something you can't keep up with, or don't create a vibe you can't maintain, or, you know what I'm saying? And that's where the problem's coming at. Because if you've been having fun all along and doing us, and it's been a grand old time, why now all of a sudden are you changing your mind? Which really they don't know. You're not changing your mind. You never wanted to do it from the beginning. You just allowed it. A lot of times we as people, and not just in romantic relationships, we as people, you know, we want to keep a situation a particular way, or we want to keep a particular person in our life, or we want things to go a certain way. So, like I said earlier, you go along to get along. My only issue about the go alongers to get along first is that eventually, if it's not who you are, that is going to stop. Or is going to make you unhappy and miserable. I've seen so many people do it. And then in the end, they are upset and not with themselves because of what they allow, but more upset, more so. I need to record this video, not just a recording space. Got it. Hey, Pookie. But not more so with themselves for what they allowed, but more so with the other person for what they actually did. And that is how we create victims. That's how we create victims. That is how victims are created. When folks don't want to take accountability and responsibility for the part they played, then it's everybody else's fault, and you can never learn a lesson because you're so busy blaming somebody else. So if you allow any third-party behavior prior to this, you acting shocked and appalled that he would propose this to you is something that makes absolutely no sense, because it's something that has made sense all along. This is something that you guys have done. If that's the case. Remember, I'm just trying to give you different standpoints to work from. But if that's now work from the standpoint of, I ain't never tried no shit like this, and he know I don't play no motherfucker shit like this. Now we gotta get righteous now. Now we gotta get righteous. Listen, I am a person that has no issue with being very clear on what I feel, right? I know a lot of people struggle with that. Most times people struggle with sharing how they feel because it might hurt somebody else's feelings, or it might offend somebody, or it may not make them, they may not look in the best light after they share what they feel. But what I read a saying, because I'm always reading quotes, hence the fact of what I have above me, but I'm always reading quotes. And one of the quotes that I love, another one is, either you say it and you fuck shit up, or you don't and you let shit fuck you up, right? And the reason why I love that is because that's mostly what happens. Sometimes you're going to say something that somebody don't like, and you're going to have a motherfucking problem, right? And then it's times where it's like, well, let me just shut up, fall back. I ain't even want to ruffle nobody's feathers. But meanwhile, inside, you feel shitty because you did not say anything. Is it unfortunate that he caught a bid? Yes. What for whatever he did, unless a gun was put to his head, it was a choice. And even then, it's still a choice. But people don't choose rationally when they're in those situations. But unless he was literally forced to do whatever he did for him to catch his bid, whatever he's in jail for is his choice. Okay? You do not have to let anybody mistreat or manipulate you because of some circumstances that they created themselves. Now, if you choose to say, listen, I want to help make my man bid easier, that's why I pay him and send letters and stamps and love and money and go on visits, and those are all of the things that I can do to make your life easier, and they're also all of the things that don't compromise who I am. But the moment that you're asking me to do things that compromise who I am as a woman, and I know I don't want to do it, but I just want to have sympathy because of your situation, that's not going to work for you, mommy. That's not going to work for you. And I'll take it a step further. What's also not going to work for you, eventually you'll begin to resent him afterwards. Because you'll look at it as, I never wanted to do that. I only did that on the strength of you. So I think being very clear and very honest with him about what you don't appreciate, this shit went down. Right? And again, he's in a very bad situation, so he may not be thinking rationally. So when you got to be so real blunt, honest, and what he might see is borderline cold with him, y'all might have a little riff about that. But at least he'll know how you feel. Right? At least he will know how you feel. So if your feeling is, I am not okaying you to sleep with a female CO, then you have to be very clear about that. If your feeling is, I am not okaying you to sleep with a female CO, and after you do it, I'm leaving you, you have to be very clear on that. Whoever you are, you have to bring that conversation to the table and have it very, very straightforward and clear. Because you don't want to leave any room for misinterpretation. You don't want him to think that you meant something you didn't. You ain't want him to think you was okay with something because you didn't actually clarify. No. You have to be very clear on what you're willing to agree with and willing to accept or not. Right? Very, very clear. Very clear. I'll tell you what, I never forget when I was in a situation with my baby and he was in a bond, and his situation was, it was rough. It was rough. I won't go into telling his personal business because, everything is not content what I'm learning. But in the situation, there was a lot of parameters, that had to be put in place because it was a very, very, so to speak, difficult situation in terms of how it went, right? In terms of like where he was and, what I had access to. It was rough. So what I did from the beginning is I sat down with him and we went over what it would look like on my end, right? And I said, this is what I can do. This is what I can do, right? And I was very clear. I was very honest. And he was very accepting of my honesty, right? And even in times when things took place and I just couldn't do what I said I was going to do, I said, I'm sorry, this time I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And because it was so clear cut, he respected it, and vice versa, right? You know what I'm saying? And again, not everybody is so easy going where it's just going to be that smooth. That's okay. That's okay. That is okay. If folks can't respect your boundaries and they can't respect you standing up for who you are just as a woman, and they can't get on board with something that you view as just self-respect for yourself, then is that the person for you? And I don't just mean that about your romantic relationship. I want everybody to question all the relationships in their lives that have them question their self-respect, their morals, their values, and their integrity. The ones that have me question mine, I get the fuck away from. You have to. You have to. Two things I say. Lauryn Hill said, respect is just a minimum. And Miss Penny said, respect is due a dog. Okay? So if nothing else, having self-respect is a requirement. And when you have self-respect, you make folks around you respect you. And the way you do so is you don't entertain them, because that don't. So the moment that somebody try to disrespect you by asking you to go against something that means something to you, that you're passionate about, that's valuable to you, then you're letting me know you're not my person, because you would never ask me to compromise myself like that. So once again, am I saying that him asking you was wrong? I don't have the right to say that. Am I saying you accepting or declining it is right or wrong? I don't have the right to say that. The only thing I am saying, my dear, is whatever you choose, make it true to who you are. Make it true to who you are. I cannot preach that enough. Make it true to who you are. And the reason why I say that is because if it all goes left, you'll know you did what was best for you. And if it all goes right, you will have a beautiful thing that went right because you made the best decisions for you, which was in turn the best decision for your spouse as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I got. That's what I got for you, sister girl. That's what I got for you. And I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you because I know in these type of situations, it can be very rough. You love the person. You don't want to make it seem like if things don't go the way, you need for them to go, you're turning your back on them and so on and so forth. But, you cannot set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. So it's either people going to get on board and we going to partner, or we can't do nothing at all. But before you can do any of those things, you have to be very clear and solid on who you are as a woman. And you have to be unshakable and unwavering in that. And that comes from being confident. Okay, so mommy, I really, really hope that I was able to provide you with some feedback that can help you, kind of get on board with what you want to do for your relationship and what works best for your relationship and yourself. I pray that the decision that you make, even if it's hard, it still makes you happy. I pray that your boo transitions through this situation safely. I pray that God brings him home to the other side. I pray that he's able to stay in the right headspace and do what he needs to do and nothing further complicates his journey. And I pray that you guys can make it. I'm a firm believer in love supersedes. I'm a firm believer in love prevails. So hopefully it will in this situation. In any event, if you are new to my channel, please, I beg of you, subscribe, right? Hit the notification bell so you can get all of my videos when I drop them. I try to drop Dear Deejas twice a week. I try to drop Dear Deejas at least twice a month. And I go live at 5 on Tuesdays and Fridays. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy that you came to show me support. I love, 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 and appreciate you guys. Also, do me a favor, please. Do me a favor. Don't text this to me. I don't know how many times I got to tell y'all this, but apparently a lot of times. Don't text me your feedback about this letter. Don't DM me. Don't inbox me. Drop down in the comments and leave your feedback. Leave your feedback. This young lady is not only asking for my help, she's asking for mine and all my subscribers' help. So lend your input. Let me know. Also, if you feel like I may have misled this young lady, let me know. But I always tell you guys, I don't debate or delete. You know, I'm here for it all, which is why I opened up my platforms to social media. Alrighty, so thank you guys for tuning in. I truly appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon. It's always a fight with this camera, but I'm getting it together, y'all. Keep me in prayer. In any event, I hope you enjoy your day. Y'all always hear me clicking, right? I learned how to use this.